Welcome to our Focus and Clarity session here at Consulting Unleashed. Welcome to our regulars, welcome to our guests. Good to see you here, a bunch of people jumping on. These sessions are done daily. Right now I'm doing them every single day, hopping on, answering questions, sharing tactical things, ideas and strategies to help as many people as possible in the agency game. We've got some amazing people that are joining us every single day. So if you're new here or it's your first time watching this replay, welcome. And I do hope you get a lot out of these sessions, as many of the people who've been attending have been getting a lot out of these sessions. So I just hopped off a session with our consulting champions. We do daily catch-ups with our marketing agencies out there in the world that I coach personally. And I was just asking questions about activities that people were doing to generate sales, because a lot of my consulting champions, in fact, one of them has closed more than 5-6 deals in the last 2 weeks. Another one has closed 3 deals in the last 2 weeks. And I just wanted to sort of share with you some of the things that they're doing to generate clients. Now, one of them sells Facebook ads into the contractor market. The other one is doing Facebook and lead generation in the restaurant market of all places. And can you imagine signing up 3 restaurateurs as your client in the last 2 weeks, which is phenomenal. He's also pivoting into a new product category as well. So that brings me to the point. Understand that not every industry, even though we're in a shutdown, lockdown scenario, not every industry in the world is shut down. Right. There are certain states where there are different laws that allow certain businesses to be open. So one of the things you want to be mindful of is if you are working in a particular vertical or a niche, you want to know, what the rules are. Like in some states, businesses can serve the market and they are seen as an essential service. And in other states, they can't be seen in the market and seen as an essential service. So understand that you need to think, if you're looking at your verticals, Mark says the pool industry is exploding right now. Absolutely. So you need to look at the verticals and how they can and how they can't operate in the current circumstances. Now, the other thing that came up in the conversations with these two champions who are closing deals right now through all the strategies that we've been talking about here on these trainings, and a few strategies that I have that we work on in our champions coaching program. One of the key things that is going on is the attitude of businesses that they're having conversations with. So these businesses are falling in 2 categories, right? So the businesses that are out of the market, they don't seem to be contactable. They're putting out messages like, right now we're closed down, we'll let we go, we'll let you know when we come back or if we come back. So that's about 25% of the market kind of fits that category. But the 2 people that they're seeing in the market is, you've got one group of people like, look, we're just trying to hang in there. We're just, wait and stay, see if we can wait this out. But, we're still in business, right? There's a second group of people who are sitting there actually realizing that this is their opportunity. Let's take these glasses off. This is their opportunity right now to actually thrive in this marketplace, thrive in this economy. Look at their options. Even though that may not be trading at an optimum pace or optimum level, they are still seeing an opportunity in business. So it's really weird. In talking to these consulting champions, my clients, the conversations were very similar. Those businesses that were proactively looking at their options were actually really easy to sell. They were really easy to sell AdWords and Facebook advertising to. The businesses that are kind of, I've got to try and hang in there, there was a little bit of education, reassurance, those sorts of things that they had to do to help those people who were saying, look, cash is tight. We're sort of looking at our options here, looking at what we're doing. So there was a process of what they needed is they needed to feel certain and assured that marketing was the right thing to do. That's what they needed to understand. So the approach or the presentation was slightly different to accommodate that. The ones that are sitting there going, hey, let's go, let's grow, right? It was really easy. It was almost like, okay, great, let's show our capability. This is how we can solve the problem. At the end of the day, this is what the investment is in the service. They are not discounting their prices. They are maintaining the strength of their prices at full price, and they're converting clients, right? So a couple of things that my champions are doing right now. They are doing things like they're running webinars for local businesses in the marketplace. So they're inviting businesses to sit in and talk about some positive, optimistic things that they need to be considering tendering in the marketplace. That's one thing they're doing. They're running, a lot of them are running webinars for the market. They're going back to past people who said no. They're going back to all the people they've spoken to, made offers to, that decided not to buy for whatever reason at that time. They've gone back and say, hey, how are you going? What are you doing? Maybe it's time to relook at the whole marketing thing right now and take advantage of the fact that there is a gap in the market that you can actually make sure that people know that you're open. And all of a sudden they're winning clients. In fact, Martin, one of my champions, closed a deal on Friday at 6 in the evening with a person that he did a pitch to more than 12 months ago. So one of the things that are going to pass. The goal is to talk to one person per day. So if we look at our the champions, one of the strategies, and I'm going to pick on Martin here, one of my champions, he works a full-time job. He's running an agency part-time and working a full-time job, 40 hours a week in a full-time job, high-paying executive role. But because he's working remotely, he's shifting his workloads to suit when he can contact or when he can communicate with people in the marketplace. So he's shifting work to hours that are not premium hours of his day job, and then where he can, and then he's looking at actively engaging in the marketplace. So even working part-time, he's been able to add more than $20,000 in revenue in his business over the last month. More than 20 grand in business, working a full-time job in this current lockdown crazy scenario in the restaurant industry, right? And the restaurant industry is decimated. So I'm giving you the alternative of when you get focused, when you see the gap in the market, when you take an opportunity in the market. Other things, the concept of talking to one person per day, having a conversation with one person per day is a critical thing. Following up all the past, what else do they do? Crafting new offers, trying new different offers to the market, just getting feedback and showing people perhaps a different perspective or a different structure to go and help them with the service they're providing. The other thing is, if I look at Scott, one of our champions, they've closed 4 sales in the last 2 weeks. They believe they'll do 8 clients this month. So what are they doing? What they're doing right now is they do cold email. They do they've picked up a news article for their industry where they're showing the states of where the businesses are open, and they're going and sending that article to the states where they're open, saying, are you aware that you are now okay to do business? And if you are, or if you're not aware, we'd like to share some stuff that we're doing with other clients in the market that can do business right now to generate opportunities. So they're sending the article out, and then following the article up and saying, hey, what are you choosing to do? Are you trying to stay, or are you actually looking to progress and grow? So that's the second thing. They're running cold text messages. So they're doing cold text messages. Are you interested? Are you still open for business? Are you accepting clients, or are you have you decided to close down like everybody else? So they're using that. They're running really simple Facebook ads to a funnel, to an appointment funnel. So they're running a lot of cheap ads at the moment. And they're following up. They're picking up the phone and they're talking. So they're doing 2 strategies. They're doing outbound and inbound strategy in the mix. And so they've been able to close 4 deals in the last 2 weeks. They believe they will close 8 deals this month. So that kind of gives you a perspective of the activity. This one person's doing it part-time, adding 20 grand worth of revenue this month so far. We've got an agency with a handful of people who are out there proactively marketing to markets that are stressed, that are actually seeing themselves in a situation where they can't do business, but they're finding a way. So that's just to share with you. These are some of the things that we work on in Consulting Champions. That's just to share with you just what happens when you get focused, when you get proactive, and you apply a lot of the ideas that we're talking about here in the group. So good to see a whole bunch of familiar faces, and we have a few new faces here as well. Damian Papworth, I don't know if you're listening, but I know that you've been on these calls. You're the founder of Globatel Marketing. You're at the coalface of dealing with what agencies are doing. Love to be able to unmute you and get a little bit of insight before I go into some of the content that I wanted to share today, just to give you perspective. So I'm going to allow you to talk. You there, Damian?
Morning, John. How are you?
Good, mate. Good. Not bad for somebody who got up at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Early.
Feeling good. A little early. So, how did your week wash up in the marketplace?
Yeah, cool. So there's 2 things, I guess. Firstly, just the top-down view of started and cancelled campaigns. So a little bit slower than the previous week, but for every campaign that was cancelled through our network, 2.5 have been sold. So every business that cancelled a marketing campaign, 2.5 businesses started a marketing campaign. So, you know, a lot of business out there.
Yep.
But really interesting. I was talking to my lawyer on Thursday, I think, and Ian's a really good guy. He's quite active here in the community on the Gold Coast. He's the president of one of the chambers of commerce. One of the things that he said to me, which was quite interesting, is, you know what, forced not to be able to do networking over the last month or so. The business is still coming in without doing networking. So I haven't made a decision yet, but we're looking at transitioning a lot more of our stuff out of traditional marketing into digital marketing. So a real opportunity there with people having some perspective around what value they're getting from that face-to-face style of marketing. And, you know, think about our messaging coming out of this too. Did not going to networking events, did it impact you at all? Maybe you should put your dollars somewhere else.
Well, that's a really good point. I'm glad you bring it up, because for a lot of businesses that do go to things like chambers of commerce and BNIs and, you know, association type, where you've got face-to-face contact with members, you know, that is a great way to grow a business. However, I mean, it's interesting that they're sitting and saying, hey, we're still getting business and we're not networking. So now they're realizing that some of that business is coming from other sources, but they also don't realize that also part of that is the fact they've actually built a bit of brand equity in their networking profile, that people will seek them out because of the work or the effort that they've done, you know, from the face-to-face contact in networking. But to sit there and say, okay, to pivot and go, great, we can go virtual, you know, we can be virtual lawyers. We don't have to actually sit down with our clients in our practices. We can actually handle more, we can do more billings, more time to do this virtual and to get out there in the marketplace. So yeah, you're making a really good point that the traditional ways of some businesses have actually generated clients have made some adjustments and shifts in the market. List types of businesses that are opening up campaigns, just to give us a perspective of the niches that are out there actively spending money.
Yeah, so I haven't checked if this changed last week. I'll check today, but I mean, over the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks, we're looking at the trades, home services, so plumbers, electricians, that kind of stuff. The medical and legal and accounting style of services, e-commerce very big, and property services, property related services. So they're the main ones.
Awesome. Anything else you'd like to add that people should be thinking about?
Not at this stage, I think just I keep encouraging everyone to come back to your daily clarity calls. I think it's an amazing way to start the day and get aligned and keep focused and positive and that kind of stuff. But apart from that, just, you know, do more, I guess. Don't fall in the trap. We're at home, we're stuck at home, let's do less. Let's have really positive activities every day.
And it's really funny, and thank you for saying that, by the way, but one of the things that I found, which came up in the conversation that I had with my champions this morning, is that one of our more successful champions kind of found themselves in a trap of listening to the doom and gloom, right? And so what happened was they started, you know, clients started cancelling, clients started pausing. They got into that mentality, and they've been, you know, again getting caught up in these. They didn't even realize it. These two guys didn't even realize that they were getting caught up in the whole negative doom and gloom. And on the other side of that, you know, as being part of champions, like one of the questions we often ask is, you know, what are the wins you've had for the month? And of course, you know, we've got some of the guys doing 8 sales, 5 sales, like, you know, in the past, through March, even leading up to now in April, we've got people who've already brought on board 4 clients in the last 2 weeks. But it's really interesting. So they were hearing all these other people going, well, they're closing deals, you know, like they haven't even stopped, and all of a sudden we've stopped. And so they realize that they've allowed themselves to fall into the trap of listening to the doom and gloom, and that had a direct impact on their ability or their proactivity in the marketplace. So one of the things that came up in that conversation, because I noticed it, and this happened again purely by accident, for like 3 or 4 days. I actually have not seen the news in 3 or 4 days. I just haven't had the opportunity to watch, or haven't, clicked on the TV to have a look at what's going on. I know that things are changing. I know that we've got a lesser curve here. I know what's going on in the world, in the US, and what's happening in Europe and the UK and all that sort of stuff. But I just haven't, in my mind, I don't have that beating like, hey, there's there's some real tragic things that are going on. And that's not to say that I'm negating the fact that that isn't happening. It is happening. I'm fully aware that people are being very severely impacted by what's going on. But just from a mindset point of view, and knowing what people are actually doing and taking action on and pivoting and growing, it just, I look at things from a very, very different perspective. And even incidentally, we're still generating clients in the middle of this craziness. So just for those of you who don't get caught up in the news, I think the biggest thing that I'm seeing is, if I look at the two people that I just mentioned, in Scott and Martin, is that they are very, very actively proactive every single day on engaging, on talking to the market, on making sure that they're offering every day, making sure they're following up their offers. They're the ones that are bringing clients on board, and their clients that they're bringing on board actually appreciate the fact that they're out there trying to help them to improve and get better results of what they're doing. So Damian, thanks for being on here, mate. I really appreciate you jumping on and sharing.
Yeah, just one point, just clarifying all that too, John. Really hard to be caught up in the negative when you just get down busy and positive busy. When you just get out and do all the positive stuff you're supposed to be doing, it's really hard to get caught up in the negative. The negative the negative exists in a state of status when you're not doing stuff, when you're sitting home thinking. So just get busy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, man. I really appreciate you being on the call. So, any questions? Martin Obiozor's here. Good to see you, Martin. Chris. So Chris, what he means by trades are contractors. So what Damian's talking about, trades, so plumbers, electricians, floor covering people, roofers, those sorts of people, they're the contract market. You can reach out to globaltelmarketing.com if you want to get in touch with the services that Globaltel provides. Scott, absolutely. That's what I would probably do if I were you, because they offer an amazing service. In fact, I was talking to somebody who just got into signing up for your dashboards day before yesterday, or on Friday actually. Damian actually came from these sessions. So, we've generic white label case studies. So Damian says we've got generic white label case studies. Stephanie, we've got Globaltel, and they're fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, Stephanie. Awesome. All right, so I want to get into just some tactical things that I know that will make a difference from a business point of view, and then I want to open up to questions, a strategy, answer your questions, and get you moving for the week for most of you, because I know in parts of the world it is a Sunday. Here we are in Australia, it's a Monday morning. Let me tell you, the weather tomorrow for those in the United States is actually blisteringly sunny and beautiful. So giving you the heads up from the future, because I'm talking to you from the future. But with that, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to get into this, and I'm just going to walk through some things to consider very quickly from a tactical point of view of where you can generate your opportunities fast. So I'm going to share my screen and get into there. Boom. All right, so hustle up, work up, fastest way to grow your agency right now. Build your sales funnel. Now, I shared 3 days ago, I shared a very practical high converting sales funnel. If you go back to the videos on the YouTube channel or in the Facebook group, you'll see where I unpacked a sales funnel that we're using right now to actually convert sales. It focuses on highlighting or focusing on a problem, solving that problem like a mini training, and then allowing people to say, hey, look, if you want to solve this problem or look at ways of doing things better or getting better results, then book a time. So it's a total appointment funnel. You want to have one place in your business where everybody can come to. You want to have one place on your website where everybody, everything that you do is driving back to that one place. And that one place should open the door to the most practical thing that you can do, and that is to have a conversation. So how do I book a conversation with you? How do you make it easy for me to book a conversation with you? Have a very key funnel to drive those appointment opportunities. Remember, I talked about Scott. Those guys are running an appointment funnel with their Facebook ads, and that's why they're getting appointments, and that's why they're closing sales. So next one, get a CRM. If you're not using a CRM right now, then you are wasting your time because you're not able to manage leads or manage any deal flow in what you're doing. So CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management software. There's a free one if you want to attach it to Gmail. It's called Streak, S-T-R-E-A-K, Streak. ActiveCampaign has a CRM in it. HubSpot has a free CRM. It's a great CRM to use, HubSpot. I use Pipedrive in one of our agencies, and we use Salesforce in the other agency. So you've got to have a CRM. If you're not using a CRM and you're not managing leads through a CRM, then you are going to be missing out on sales opportunities. You want to be, if you've got a lead, you want to place that lead in the CRM, and you want to actually, what phone calls you made, what follow-ups have you done, what information have you sent them, what message, what offers. So you want to build a relationship with those people in your database. And if you don't have a database, if your database, so for a while, I used to use an autoresponder as my database. And the problem is that I couldn't extract sales data. I could only extract email or autoresponder related. I couldn't extract the activity data from the actual system. So we were using in Keep as that system. We can go into contacts and accounts, but it was really convoluted. So we changed to Pipedrive, and now we integrate Pipedrive with everything that we do, and it works brilliantly, right? But having that CRM is going to help you generate sales very quickly. If you don't have one, get one now. Get one today. Make it a point, make a note. If you're not using a CRM or a customer relationship management software to manage leads, then you are missing, you're not in business as far as I'm concerned, because you're missing out on opportunities. So number 2, research what's working. So I remember just a moment ago, I said there are states that can operate in certain industries, and there are other states that have got edicts where certain businesses can't operate. What you want to be doing is go to the government websites and find essential services or businesses that they relate to the fact that can stay open. Look at all those businesses, right? And that shows you who's opening. But the other thing that I want to look at is what's working in the marketplace. So I love this thing called SimilarWeb. I don't know if anybody's used it or is familiar with it. If I want to see campaigns that are working in the market, getting results and getting feedback, looking at keyword structures, landing pages, that sort of stuff, I go and look at a service called SimilarWeb. If you go to similarweb.com, there are other services to do this. AdSpec is another one. There's a few different services where you can take a peek at what is actually working. Now, if you've got something that's working, guess what you can do? You can go to the market and say, hey, I know this is working right now, and this is converting. Let me show you the top 3 landing pages right now that actually convert, right? If you're using things like, white label, like Globotel Services, IPPC, they've got things that actually work. They can share with you things that actually work. So you want to go to the market with things that work. Go to the market with niches that are generating results, right? Research what works, what's working, and share that with the market, right? Number 2, build your list. You should be building a list every single day. The minimum contact list that you want to build is roughly 20 to 30. In fact, you should be doing about 50 a day. If you're doing 50 a day, that's 1,000 leads a month, right? So to me, the biggest database on the planet is LinkedIn. It is the most abused database on the planet because a lot of people screw their strategy up on LinkedIn, but you want to build your list on a daily basis. My question to you is, how many leads are you putting in your list every single day? The minimum you want to be doing, in my head, would be 50. I want to be making 50 contacts. I would highly recommend that you get Sales Navigator on LinkedIn, because that allows you to drill into targeting the right audience. And also you're looking for people who've been active on LinkedIn for the last 30 days. And Sales Navigator actually tells you who's been active, because if somebody's been active on LinkedIn in the last 30 days, actively posting, the only reason somebody posts on LinkedIn is because they're looking for business. So if you're looking for clients who are looking for clients, hint, hint, go and look at the people who are active, look at the businesses that are actively posting on LinkedIn to generate leads. There's a list right there. That's a free list for everybody, where the person's putting up their hand and saying, we want business, right? If you want business, that's where you can find business easily. So look for strategic partnerships. Now, for me, right now, it's one of the easiest things you can do, because there are businesses right now. So if I've got lead lists, so for example, I've got a lead list of 7,000 physical therapists. I've got a lead list of 7,000. I actually have a lead list of a much larger list, but I've got a particular list that I've got sitting there. It's got 7,000. They are specialists in a certain type of treatment. Right? Now, I know there are companies, product companies, that will sell to that list, right? But I also know those product companies have clients that I could sell to as well. So if I went to that company and say, listen, I've got a 7,000 lead list. If we can come up together with an offer or a campaign together and we can promote into the market, can we share? Or if we're going to do this, why don't we, this is what we're really good at. Why don't we do something, a value add for your people in this time to get results and share with you? I can put out a message of, hey, are you interested in partnering with my list, right? Every single person I've said that to has gone, yes, right? Every single person. Now, all I've got to do is let's sit down and figure out. That opens you up to dozens and dozens and dozens of opportunities. Very, very quickly, you can find yourself in a situation where you can get a bucket load of sales just by looking at strategic partners. So who is serving your customers right now? And if you've got a lead list, can you work with them to say, hey, I've got a list. Let's look at, crafting some offers, crafting some campaigns, exposing you to that list, right? This is a huge, very powerful way. Not only can they turn into a customer, but they can turn into a valued partner in terms of referring customers to you. I'm actually going to do a whole training on how to develop strategic partners. We're actually doing it in Champions as we speak. So I'm thinking about sharing it with this group. So strategic partnerships, huge, right? Number 2, create a webinar to solve a problem. If you know there's a problem in the marketplace right now, are you shut down like everybody else, or are you looking at options of how you can actually stay in the market, make sure that people are aware of what you're doing and people are coming to you? Are you interested in that training, right? So I've been talking about it. 3 things you should be doing: keeping your customers, staying and paying. Number 2, pivoting or sharing or innovating in your offer based on where your customers are at in terms of how what's going on for them. So that's number 2. Number 3, we've got to let the local market know that you're available. So we've got to do our Google My Business, and we've got to do running ads and campaigns in the marketplace. These are four things, right, that you can do to have an impact on any business in the marketplace. Can you do a webinar to solve the problem of, are you shut down right now, or are you worried about coming back into the market? Right, every single person on this call can do this. Do a simple training, hop on a Zoom, record the Zoom. That becomes content for you that you can send out or syndicate on the social networks. Now, you don't need hundreds of people to show up. You only need 5, 10, 15 people to show up. And the smaller number of the group, the better it is, because you can actually ask questions, get feedback, and make it more relevant. But what it does do, it highlights the fact that you're the person who's leading this opportunity, and this opens you up to business, right? I talked about this in a previous training of how to create that mastermind type group in business groups right now, peer-to-peer activity. This is another way. Solve a problem, let the market know that you're solving the problem, where they can come and attend to listen to you to solve that problem. Teach people what you know. This is the number. Right now, people need help. People need help with how to run Facebook ads. People need help with how to run AdWords campaigns, Instagram campaigns. People need help with how to run sales automation funnels. People need help with how to manage their leads and make better sales. People need help with the things, the skills. People need help with copywriting. People need help with their messaging, their branding right now. People need help to reestablish their websites to be relevant in this current marketplace. Teach people what you know. It is the easiest way that I know that you can get a customer. If you go to the market, and you don't have to go to thousands or hundreds of people, I'm talking about pick 3 people, 3 businesses this week. If that's a goal, that you are going to teach what you know to 3 businesses, right? And then you can give them a choice, right? I can help you and apply this to you, or you can take this idea and run with it yourself. What do you want to do? I'll guarantee you that if you shared that with at least 5 people, you're going to get 2 customers, 2 clients. If you want clients, this is the easiest way to get customers in the marketplace. Teach people what you know. Show them how it works for them, right? Demonstrate to them that you have that knowledge and that understanding. And so they'll sit there and go, most people sit there and say, and oftentimes when I've actually sat there and done this, most people will go, John, can you help us? Can you teach this to us? Can you do this for us? Not teachers. Can you do this for us? I've got a lot of champions who do the teach people what you know, and this is how they get really good quality clients. They've gone in and taught Facebook advertising for their marketing team how to do Facebook ads, and they still don't get it. So they end up hiring the agency to come and do all their Facebook ads, right? Teach people what you know. Teach 5 people what you know in terms of how it has an impact on their business, and then ask them, what do you want to do? Do you want to do this, or can I help you? The easiest way to get a customer. You want clients, it's a fast way to get clients. Join social network business groups. So there are a lot of business groups online right now, both in LinkedIn and in Facebook groups. Look for city-based business groups, right? You know, Chicago business group, Chicago entrepreneurs, look for New York, look for, you know, LA, look for the business social network groups. There's lots of them. Start jumping in and answering questions. This is where real brick and mortar businesses kind of hang out socially. And right now, the activity in these business social groups is really big. They're really, like, people sitting there going, well, Jesus, what are my options? I'm sitting here, how can I get help? And guess what's happening? There's all these people that are helping people in those communities, and they're generating clients. They're getting customers. They're going with the attitude of, let me help you. Let me check out what you're doing. Let me see if I can help, right? They're helping those businesses, and they are picking up free business, free leads, free clients by doing this. So join the social networks and the business groups. It's a very fast way to generate clients. Lead with one offer. Pick one thing that you know will make a difference to the people that you're serving. Articulate how that solves a problem for them in relation to where they're at, and just lead with that message over and over and over again. If you need to adjust the message and you get feedback and say that's not quite right, then make the adjustment, but lead with one thing, not with 10 or 5 things or 3 things. Just lead with one thing. It makes it so much more simple to develop a sales process around one offer than being the generalist in the marketplace. Because if you're all over the place, then you're not going to get any business. If I look at my champions, the ones that lead with one direct offer, they're the ones that are making all the sales, right? They're the ones that are growing their business. They're the ones that are crafting the opportunity to generate client opportunities. So we want to lead with one offer, right? Talk to your market. Right now, people are interested in having positive conversations, reaching out to people to get an understanding of where they're at. You know, asking, like, are you looking to progress? Are you looking to dominate? Are you looking to innovate, pivot? What are you working on right now that's going to keep you in business and keep you thriving? Get some feedback from the market. You oftentimes, when you're talking to business people, I find that that turns into a client opportunity. Because oftentimes in that conversation, they're going to say things like, you know, we tried the Facebook thing, couldn't make it work. Well, what if I can show you how to make that work? Right? Or, you know, we don't, you know, I know our website's important, but our website kind of sucks right now, but I don't want to spend a lot of money on a website. Okay, so instead of building or rebuilding a website, what if we built your landing page? What if we help to convert clients, right? Talk to your market. These are the things of all the list of things that I've shared with you through this, and as you're writing your notes, Madly, and I'm recording this, so we're going to put this up in our Facebook group, and it's going to be on YouTube, so you're going to go back to this. What I'd like you to do is pick one thing and run with it. Pick one thing and run with it. Actually follow it through so you can generate some results, right? So join an association. Now, a lot of people, what is an association? Association is a registered not-for-profit organization that is a governing or representative body of a particular niche. So there's associations for every business category on the planet. There's an association called the Association of Association Executives. This is an association for associations, right? But all the executive directors and leaders of groups from right around the world, more than, I think more than 80,000 of them are part of one association, right? And these people represent trillions and trillions of dollars worth of revenue in the marketplace. And so even the plumbers have an association, the lawyers have an association, financial planners have an association, every industry group, manufacturers, you name it, there's associations. In fact, a lot of associations have chapters, city-based, state-based, national, international, right? Associations are a place where there is vertical market. If you become a member, you have access to their entire membership. And some of these associations, their membership fee is like $300 a year, $400 a year. It's nothing. I think the most I've ever paid for an association membership is like $1,500 for the year. But that $1,500 turned into hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue because it gave me direct access to a market. That's like the cheapest lead list acquisition cost ever. But the cool thing is if you get involved with the market, then you're going to get a lot more return or a lot more results from that activity. It's one of the areas that I know that, you know, if you can get into an association, it's not difficult to build a 7-figure business out of an association. It's not difficult at all. In fact, it's actually quite easy. If you look at some of the tactical things, this is one of the things that we talk about in Consulting Champions. One of the trainings that we're doing is how to actually engage an association and open the door to a truckload of revenue opportunities. And a lot of these revenue opportunities are really leveraged. I'm talking, big money, big ticket, big sales, right? But join an association, very, very cool. So if you haven't already, go to consultingunleashed.com/go. If you go there, you'll find the YouTube channel, the Facebook group, a few other resources that we're placing in there. Make sure you put a notification because we're uploading these videos every single day in those categories, so you can go back and watch or listen and learn to what we're doing. So I want to stop sharing here for a second. I want to get back to you. Of all the things, what I'd like you to do is look at your notes right now. Look at your notes. Of the things that I've just shared in the last 25 minutes, which of these things are you going to take action on? Look at your notes. Which of these things, just write the thing that jumps out to you that you want to go and take action on. Because what I'd like to do is perhaps answer your questions around that one thing. So if you can just type in the chat, the one thing that you're going to work on to take action on from this, just type it in. I'll wait for you here in the chat. Whilst you're doing that, I'll actually take a, Taya says a webinar. Who else? What's the one thing? Look at your list. Chris Lacey, teach what you know. Scott says, I'm sticking with the cold email campaign and the follow-up. Awesome. Well done. What else? What else? There's a whole bunch of people on this. I'd like to hear from as many as possible. Just type in the chat. If you looked at your notes from the things that I've just shared, what is the one thing that you'd like to work on? And I would like to unpack that for you so that you get the best. Stephanie says, working on my LinkedIn network. Awesome. Chris says, talk to 3 to 5 businesses. Share what you know. Awesome. Who else? Just type in the chit chat. Howard says, LinkedIn. Yes, Howard, LinkedIn's very powerful. Raymond says, g'day, Raymond, good to see you here. LinkedIn, okay, awesome. What else of all the things that I've shared? Omar says, I'm going to teach what I know, awesome. George says, share what I know and follow-ups, awesome. Call 10 businesses each day, yes, Chris, absolutely. Start with one thing, yes, James, absolutely. One offer and keep campaigning, yes. All right, awesome. So, let's talk a little bit about LinkedIn strategy. Stephanie, where are you, Stephanie? Stephanie Dale. I'm going to ask you a question. Do you have a microphone? Can we actually hop on and have a chit chat here? Because I want to talk about LinkedIn and just give perspective to others. If you have a microphone, that would be awesome. Just type yes if I've got a microphone, Stephanie. If you can talk. If you can talk, yes. All right, awesome, Stephanie. I'm going to unmute you here because one of the things that we do here is it's good that we can hear from others, that we can talk to people. I'm just going to allow you to talk, Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie, you there? Hello? Just check your microphone, Steph. I'm going to unmute you again.
Yeah, that should be working now.
Awesome.
Hi.
Hey, Stephanie, how you doing?
Excellent. Yourself?
Good. What part of the world are you in?
Sydney, Australia.
You're in Sydney. Oh, beautiful Sydney. Awesome. Okay. So your strategy right now is you're using LinkedIn as a part of your strategy. Yes.
Correct.
Okay. So just to give us perspective, what is the service that you offer, Stephanie?
We're a full service direct marketing agency. So everything from creating a brand for a new client through to web development, media advertising, and so on.
Okay. Now, when you do media advertising, we're talking mainstream media, TV, radio, paper, billboard, magazine.
Mostly what we call above the line, your TV, radio.
Yeah. Okay.
Whole lot less press these days, but it's moving more and more into the digital age, obviously. So we're starting to ramp up our digital sector of the business.
Okay. Being a full service agency, I would imagine poses some challenges because you can do lots of things for lots of people. It means you have to do a lot of customization. Would that be fair?
Yeah, very much so. Actually, in a funny sort of way, it's a detriment to be full service because while you're working with one client on their web design, they'll go somewhere else for their media sales, for example, because they don't realize that we're doing that as well. So we have to work really hard to make sure that the clients are well aware and educated.
Okay. So how are you finding things right now? Are things moving? You're still generating sales? bring on
Well,
new clients?
no,
Right.
most of
Okay.
the clients are in the retail and hospitality sector, hotels, so you can understand that's taken a huge beating. But what we are doing is now we're pivoting with that, trying to make the clients realize that they, even though they don't have the budget at the moment because they've literally shut their doors in 75% of cases, they need to be present in front of their client base. So we're scaling and trying to present new concepts to them of scaled down campaigns just to be in front of their target market.
Are you making those offers right now to the market?
We've just started in the last week. We suffered similarly to one of your champions that you talked about, where we started to believe the doom and gloom and just put our head in our hands and went, oh, it's all over. So the phoenix is rising from the ashes. It looks a bit like a sparrow at the moment, but we're getting there.
Awesome. Look, Stephanie, I really appreciate you hopping on, and I really appreciate you sharing. It just gives a perspective to others that, you know, others are out there going through the same things, doing certain things. My one thing that I might say, Stephanie, is you might want to try and pivot into markets that are actually recession-proof right now, rather than sticking with your knitting, especially considering that there's going to be some cash issues for a lot of people in the hospitality and the restaurant market. So it might be worthwhile taking consideration of pivoting into businesses that can take advantage of the strategy you have that may not be in that hospitality related category, but, you know, what are other service-based businesses right now that are open that could take advantage of, you know, the branding, the messaging, and the marketing that you deliver to the marketplace? Something that you might want to consider, because you've already got the skills, you've already got the expertise, you've already got the knowledge. Like you've got data, you've got what we call domain knowledge in your market. You've been doing this for quite some time, maybe it's something that I would actually consider is look at the list of some of the recession-proof markets right now and take the strategy to the recession-proof market, because they're people that are spending money right now. But a lot of those people aren't getting their online presence effectively or their needs met because they've never had to. Like they've been in a situation where lots of things are piecemeal. And right now, even the recession-proof businesses need to change up their messages, need to change up the way that they're marketing and reaching their audience to be aware. I'm very mindful, and I'm watching a lot of mainstream media advertising at the moment and just looking at businesses that are spending money on ads. So we're seeing lots of new apps, we're seeing lots of new insurance related services, we're seeing trade services going like crazy right now in the marketplace. So these are all people that are using mainstream. They're also correlating with online efforts as well, but they've drifted towards, because we're all on our TVs watching doom and gloom, right? In between those doom and gloom primetime channels, you've got, you know, all these local ads coming up. So maybe in your outreach into the market, you might want to consider pivoting to niches that are a little bit more recession-proof. And one, they're sitting there looking at ways of the fact that they're staying open. So there are two categories right now, okay? Number one category, Stephanie, right now, the biggest category is I want to wait and see. Right, the biggest category in business right now is I want to wait and see, I want to ride this through, I want to take advantage of the stimulus packages, all that sort of stuff is going on. The second category is there are businesses right now that are just proactively thinking, like, I don't know what to do, but I want to do something, right? I don't know what to do. We're doing some things, we're changing things up, we're pivoting, they're making moves in their marketplace, knowing that there is this gap that's opening up in the coming months, because once the stimulus money starts to hit our bank accounts, once those businesses are actually employing their employees and having the subsidies from the government to keep those employees employed, those people are coming back into that marketplace, which means money or cash is coming back in. Those businesses that have been proactively marketing right now, Stephanie, are the ones that are going to reap the rewards of that mini boom coming in the next 2 to 3 months, right? In fact, the next 3 to 6 months is going to be critical in how visible you are to the market, right? So some of the things to take into consideration, maybe pivot to a market that's recession-proof, using the knowledge and the assets that you already have, because you can, you know, marketing is marketing, right? We've just got to change the message or change the approach to suit the market, right? You already know what works. You already know the impacts that you can create. You've already got that history in that domain. Use that to your strengths. Pick one thing to go out to the market with, not everything. Pick one thing, right?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I wrote that down and did a big underline under it because we're a bit inclined to jump around at the moment. So it's a case of just harnessing that and staying true to form.
People don't need jump around right now. right? Because if we jump around, that creates confusion for them. Then it's like paradox of choice. Like, what? Okay, now I don't have the confidence to make the choice because I can do so many different things, right? But if whatever you pick as that one offer to the market needs to relate to where the market's at, you know, what do they need help? Is this a strategy to get people to stay and pay for their side? Is this a strategy to craft and pivot a new message for that market? Or is this a strategy, a visibility strategy, so that they're letting people know that they're open and they can accept customers in the marketplace, right? So if you, whatever service you pick, that one thing, the door opener has to be relevant to where the market is. So that way, because you can always upsell them to all the other stuff. You can always say, hey, here are options, right? The last thing we want is to be general. The more assurance, clarity, and specificity that we can have, the better the impact that we can have in the market. If I look at the people that I work with, Stephanie, the ones that are going to the market with one message right now, they're the ones that are bringing on clients hand over fist, right? The ones that are going to the market with, hey, we can help you with a whole bunch of stuff online, are generating clients, right? Paradox of choice. Yeah. So let's look at LinkedIn strategy. Use LinkedIn. You're obviously using LinkedIn. Are you signed up to Sales Navigator?
No. Yes, the boys have signed up to it. Yeah.
Okay. So you need to have Sales Navigator. If anybody who's on LinkedIn, if you want to prospect for people, you need to have Sales Navigator. So one of the things that you can do very easily is I like to look at people who are active on LinkedIn rather than people who are not. And so when you start doing searches, Stephanie, for those of you who are looking to generate clients on LinkedIn, what you're looking for is a couple of things with Sales Navigator. You can narrow down your search into the size of companies that you want to do business with. That's number one. You can narrow down your search into location, industry niche, the title of the decision maker, so you can get into that level of detail. And so through 60 degrees of connection, that's a lot of people. The problem is in Sales Navigator, when you look for your search criteria and you hit search, you'll see on the left-hand side, the first tab will give you, here's all the people that qualify in that list, right? So that's, in some cases, that could be hundreds of thousands of people, or that could be tens of thousands, or that could be 5,000 or 6,000 people. The problem with that, Stephanie, is we can't contact 5,000 people. It would take us forever. Depending if we've got a huge sales team, that might be possible over the next 3 or 4 months. But to connect with 5,000 people that fit our criteria is going to be a little unrealistic, right? But if you look 4 tabs over in LinkedIn, when you do that search, there's this tab and it says active on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. Actively posted in LinkedIn in the last 30 days. Anybody who has actively posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days, Stephanie, is looking for clients. They're marketing.
Makes sense.
Right? And so they're the people, that list will be smaller. You might have a 15,000 list up on the left-hand side, but 4 tabs over, that list might be 1,500 people. Well, 1,500 people is a much more manageable list than 15,000 people, right? So there's if you're using Sales Navigator, it allows you to send out, you can have direct connection with up to 33 people per month. However, that's only 33 people respond, up to 33 people. That means that you might be able to message 300 or 400 people to get those 300 people to respond to you, that you can start managing those leads, right? So the traditional method of LinkedIn connection is to say, hey, do you need some help? This is what we do. You're interesting. I'm interesting. Let's get together. We take a very sort of basic convoluted approach. What we want to do is we want to give them a reason as to why we want to connect, right? So, and we want to be very succinct and very clear. We also have to be very clear that we have to get our profile in order as well, because when we connect with people, they're going to check us out. So this is old school LinkedIn marketing, right? Reach out, connect with somebody, build a relationship, ask questions, see if you can get on a phone call. Generally, you can do 75 connections on average per day if you're doing it cold. Over the course of the month, that's roughly a few thousand, that's roughly 1,500 people over the course of the month that you can bring into your pipeline. And out of 1,500 people, you should be able to expect between 10 and up to 30 appointment opportunities if you're doing this consistently. That is the slow way of doing it, Stephanie. That's the slow way of doing it, right? It'll take you 6 weeks to build a cadence to get to a point where you're able to talk to people, enough people, to be able to have that conversation. So would you like me to share you the fast way, Stephanie?
Yes, please.
Okay. So just for those who are listening to me, so there's a piece of software, all right? and LinkedIn is going to now crucify me for actually sharing this information. There's several pieces of software, but there's one piece of software called anyleads.com, anyleads.com. What it allows you to do is when you go to that tab of posted in the last 30 days, you can take the URL and post it into AnyLeads, and AnyLeads will extract and confirm, verify the contact and the email from LinkedIn. So it's literally going to rip it out into a database, right? Now you can send out from AnyLeads, or you can take it to using a cold type campaign. You can plug it into something like quickmail.io or Mailshake, and there's a whole bunch of other tools so that you can actually take a portion of those people, send out an invitation to on a daily basis, and then follow them up, have your people follow them up, right? So, hey, just reaching out, just want to touch base, let you know, we've got this thing that we know will help, can we talk, right? So we're getting a consistency of cadence. So AnyLeads allows you to get direct access. You don't have to even connect with people to get access to those leads. Right? You now have a list, a CSV file that you can start to give to either somebody who's a sales development representative and say, hey, here are the contacts, here are the emails. I need you to pick up the phone and say hi, or we need to craft a message to these people. Let's contact 10 or 15 of these people per day. At the end of the day, let's find out what our message is like. Are we working? Is it working? Are we generating clients? Right? That is one of the fastest and cheapest and easiest ways to get a very, very targeted list, and one that you can engage on a speedy level. Now, Stephanie, do you have questions?
Well, thank you. No questions. That's awesome. It's worth its weight in gold. Thank you.
You can literally extract thousands and thousands. Like, you don't even need to subscribe to the service. I think it's $100 or $100 for a month, right? So for $100 for a month, you can extract, like for 30 days, you can go, okay, let's target different industry sectors, look for the 90-day activity guys, and just draw down a whole bunch of lead lists. It's one of the biggest, fastest, and cheapest ways to build a contact database of proactive people who are marketing in the marketplace, right? And so from there, but then you've got to look at the strategy to engage, because you don't want to blast people, you don't become a spammer, right? You don't want to blast people. You want to be very mindful that the information you put out there, Stephanie, is actually very relevant to the scenario that those businesses are experiencing right now, right? Like John Dillinger once said to the reporters when they asked him, why do you rob banks, right? He says, because that's where the money is. The money right now is in the recessionary-proof markets. That's where the cash is. If you're in a situation where you can pivot, I would suggest that you do pivot. Because going back to traditional markets, especially ones that have been highly distressed at the moment, the only restaurant market that I'd be going after are the people who have actually been servicing their customers through takeout, right? They're the only people. The people who've actually shut their doors completely, those people are going to struggle to get back into the market. It's going to take them some time. So I'll give you an example with Stephanie. I have a seafood restaurant that I really love because they cook the most amazing seafood dishes, and so they've had to pivot into providing takeout, right? Essentially, they've turned themselves into a very glorified, expensive fish and chip shop, right? However, what they're surviving on is their current clients, and the rest of the street is shut down. Every other restaurant is closed off because they're not gathering. They haven't decided to pivot. There might be one, I think there's a Thai restaurant that's doing takeaway in that street. So there are several restaurants on either side of the street. His restaurant open every night of the week, gradually gathering customers. He is surviving of the generosity of the support of his valued customers, saying, hey, we need to keep our chefs employed. We need to keep our waiters employed. We'll deliver the food to you, or you can have that food ready for you. You can pick it up from us. And they are still there. They've been operating right through this lockdown period, and they're not doing fantastically well, but they're paying the rent, they're paying their staff, they're keeping the doors open. Now, when time comes back, this business is going to have an incredible advantage over the other businesses in the market, right? So to me, businesses that are doing takeout or innovating on the takeout side of things, if I was going to go after the restaurant market, they're the people I would be speaking to, because their mindset is, hey, we want to serve, we want to stay open, we want to make sure our customers are happy, and we're going to trade our way through this and come out the other side. Because when we do come back to work, these other restaurants, a lot of them are not going to be there, Stephanie. They're just not going to be there, right? I would have to say a good third of restaurants will just not be coming back at all, which is very, very sad. Which means that leaves a huge gap in the market for those restaurants that do come back in the market. So if I was targeting restaurants, definitely I'd be targeting people who have pivoted to takeout, not for people who are sitting saying, hey, we'll figure it out when we get back, right? Because they're not serving anybody right now, and it's going to take them some time to get back into the swing of things. And in fact, those that have shut down will struggle to get back into the market. They will very much struggle because it's a high cost business. The only areas that I would focus on are if you're looking at hospitality from the hotel point of view, those sorts of businesses have to get traction. They have to open up their venues, those sorts of things. They're going to be coming back into the market. They're more prepared because they've still been able to take some cash through other areas in their business. But straight out restaurants, it's going to be a hard sell from a money point of view. Does that make sense?
Yeah, our market base is predominantly mainstream hotels, more than restaurants.
Yeah.
Interesting, another pivot case, just as an example, is a local hotel who are doing drive-through cocktails, and they're using Facebook to release their cocktail menu of the day. You drive through, you can pick up 500 ml or a litre of your favourite cocktail, and they're going gangbusters.
That's awesome. So Stephanie, thank you for hopping on and thank you for sharing. Hopefully that's been useful to you.
Very much so. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Stephanie. All right. We're going to... You there? All right. So questions. We had a few people. Raymond says we're a full service agency. So yeah, pick one thing, Raymond. It's the easiest way to grow in your marketplace. Chris, on your website, would you list all the services you offer or just the one offer? So if it's a landing page, Chris, if I'm an agency and I'm good at Facebook ads and that's my core service, then my landing page is going to be dedicated to that core service, to Facebook, right? Even though I might have a menu that says other services, or I might have a thing, I would not put that on my front page right now. Right now, if you're where does your customer get the biggest bang for the service you provide? That's the thing that should be on the front of your website right now. So where whatever you're wanting to sell, not everything, the thing where that will make the biggest impact for businesses right now, that's the thing that needs to be on the front of your website. One offer, one action per page, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're offering a full service, I believe you're going to be confusing people. It's hard work. Much easier to sell, to pick something that's going to make a direct impact now that helps people get a result. That's what I'd be selling. But if you have a landing page, you should only offer one service on a landing page, and you should offer one call to action. If you want the person to call, phone number, call now. If you want to get these results, call now. You're telling people to call, right? If you want people to fill in information to give you context, then say, hey, the best way, this is our process. Here's the best way we can help you. Give us some details, and one of our people will hop on the phone with you in the next 10 minutes, right? So your focus is sticking the form 4 or 5 times on the page. Say, I want you to fill this, I want you to fill this. As long as it's relatable relevant to them taking that action, right? What is the action they're going to take? You want them to pick up the phone, then talk about picking up the phone. You want them to fill in a form, then fill in a form. If you've got a lead magnet that educates people about your process of how they get better value from you, or you've got a lead magnet where you want to capture details and there's some sort of incentive that you're providing, then that page should be just about that one lead magnet and nothing else, right? Only ask, like if you ever visited consultingunleashed.com, all I'm asking you is to give me your email. That's all I'm asking you. I don't want you to buy anything. I don't want you to do anything. I'm just looking for your email. So all my effort, all my concentration is go grab this, go grab this, go grab this. One call to action, right? That leads into the funnel, yeah? If you want to sell something, then show where people can buy the product right now. Go straight to buy, right? One thing in your marketing you want to be mindful of is you need to think about the action that you want the person to take. This is something you want to be talking to your clients about, right? You need to think about, how does a customer buy? How does a customer go through and make the inquiry? Do they do the search, draw down? Do they pick up the phone? Do they fill in a form, right? What do they do? Or do they go, I want this, I want to buy it, right? So that's another call to action. Yeah? So you need to think about the behavior of the customer. And the other thing is the question is, how do you make it easy for them to take the action? How do you direct them? You only want them to take one action, and you want to make it really easy for them to do this. So here's an example of, God, I keep forgetting his name. So this is a test. I think I talked about this the other day. This is a marketing test. So they ran 2 campaigns, right? The first campaign they used to run was a lead campaign that would get people to opt into a lead magnet, and then they would go and obviously try and market that person into an appointment, right? So they were providing a lead magnet for a financial planner. So they're doing a lead magnet, financial say, download this cool, program plan thing, things you need to take into consideration, questions you need to ask a financial planner, download this thing, opt in, and away you go. And so they used to run direct ads to that particular landing page. And the call to action was, fill in, give us your details, we'll give you the lead magnet. So then they realized something. They said, well, the financial planner said, listen, we just need people to call. Like the conversion rate to get people into the lead magnet was pretty high, actually. The conversion rate was like 18%. So that was not a bad conversion rate. Doing 18 to 20% conversion rate on a lead magnet with ads, that's pretty good. And their cost per lead was probably sitting at about, I think it was about an average between $8 and $12 a lead, $8 to $12 a lead. But here's the problem. I was sending all those ads, so I was doing 20% conversion. So they changed the landing page to a get help landing page. So the get help landing page is call one of our associates. If you'd like one of our associates to answer a quick question about your needs around risk or things you need to be aware of in a 401k or that sort of thing, just call this number right now and one of our team is going to be there. We've got people online 24/7. So they had people in 8-hour shifts just to manage the phone inquiries. So they had people across, people in New York, and they had people in LA, so they could actually manage the call inquiries. That ad direct to let's pick up the phone, 5-to-1 outperformed the lead magnet ad. 5-to-1 outperformed lead magnet ad. In fact, got more inquiries, more direct inquiries, because they said, here's the reason to call. We've got somebody who's going to answer your questions directly, right, to help you to get the best possible information possible. Just call this number. We will help you. And they had somebody on their end to handle inquiry. 5 times, a 500% increase in the number of leads, because they wanted to get somebody on the phone. Once they got the person on the phone, they could provide relevant information. They could ask some questions. They could qualify that person. They could also collect their email and say, hey, we're going to send you some information so that you're aware of some of the things. Or can we make an appointment with one of our specialists who will walk you through our process to help you get the best value, to mitigate your risk, and make sure you've got a secure portfolio that's generating some level of increase in return. Would you like to take advantage of that? Their appointment rate went through the roof. So by eliminating the lead magnet strategy and just going into let's get on the phone, they got a much stronger result. So understand what is the strategy in your campaigning and what is the thing that's going to get the result. So how is a customer going to buy? These are all the things that most people make mistakes on when they put in campaigns. The 4 critical aspects of a campaign is, number 1 is what is the strategy, right? Number 2, what is the copy that's going to communicate that message? Number 3, what's the creative that attracts the attention of the customer? And number 4, what's the optimization or the testing of that campaign so that you can actually maximize for scale? That's if you're running a Facebook campaign. Same thing if you're running media campaigns, right? You want to be testing, you want to look at testing elements in a media campaign so that you can actually improve the message. You don't want to put one message out, you want to put 5, right? And you want to find out which message is going to have an impact, and you've got the opportunity to split test in the marketplace. So what you need to think in relation to how does a customer buy? One of the best ways into a customer is to ask this question, like, hey, what if we focused on the buyer's journey, not on the seller's journey, right? Most people focus on how we sell something rather than how somebody buys something, right? And so you will find out very quickly that in some mediums, it just won't work to use a particular medium to generate clients. A lot of B2Bers, B2B business, they try to run ads on Facebook and they fail abysmally because of targeting an audience. Even the message is even wrong, right? For that medium. But then they target the campaigns in AdWords, and AdWords has a much stronger reach or push into the B2B market. Or they're running ads on LinkedIn where their business market is, and they're running the message to that market that is relevant to that audience, right? So even the medium sometimes might not be the right medium, but the best way to test that or find that out is to actually have a strategy, have a philosophy of how does the customer buy, if that makes sense. So a couple of questions here. I'm looking at the chats here. Mark, since the pool orders are going up and some of them are overwhelmed in my city, so should other pool providers be, yes, if you know that pool orders are up, then I would go to other pool providers in other cities and say, hey, your pool orders up. Right now, we've got a whole bunch of people where the pool orders are going through the roof right now. Are you experiencing the same? If you're not, you want to know what these guys are doing to get pool orders. It's a really simple outreach and message. Omar asked me, what cold email strategy would you use to teach people what you know? I have a list of e-com businesses, and I'm contacting them to teach them my email marketing plan. So really cool. So Omar, what I would do is there is a software called Klaviyo, spelled K-L-A-V-I-O, Klaviyo. Klaviyo is an email marketing tool for e-commerce businesses. So if there's a software called Built With, B-U-I-L-T, with.com, go to builtwith.com, type in Klaviyo, download all Klaviyo users, right? Anybody who's using Klaviyo, most of those people have not set up their email campaigns in Klaviyo effectively. They don't know how to do it. In fact, one of my champions specializes in doing email campaigns, and he's doing really well. Like, he charges clients 5, 10 grand a month just to do email campaigns in Klaviyo. So your outreach or your message is, hey, if you know the audience is using a tool, right now, one of the things is, I know if you're using Klaviyo, one of the things you want to maximize is the right message to the right market. Let me show you our methodology, right? We'd love to just share our methodology of how we're using email and Klaviyo to maximize conversions. So what I'd love to do is just to spend half an hour showing you actually giving you the strategy that we use to maximize conversions on e-commerce. If you're interested, just give us the best phone number I can contact you on. Or you can say, hey, we're doing a training. We're inviting 4 or 5 e-commerce people into this training. We're going to break down exactly how you can use Klaviyo effectively to market or communicate effectively in your e-commerce business, so that you don't miss out on sales opportunities. If you're interested, jump in on the call, give them the time. I'm going to call you to make sure that you're available for this, so that gives you the follow-up, and then you can put people back into your course. So my thing is, right now, Facebook is where it's at for a lot of people. Instagram is where it's at for people for product-based businesses. LinkedIn is where it's at for business point of view, right? How are we reaching? How can you help people get results with your service and show them how to do it? Teach them how to do it. I'm showing people how to do this. I know most people, like one of the offers, here's a script, right? Really simple. I'm reaching out to business owners because I know business owners are wasting a lot of money in ad campaigns online because, right, they're not optimizing their campaigns correctly. What I'm doing is I'm helping businesses individually to understand exactly what they need to do from a Facebook ad strategy for their market, or from email marketing strategy for their market. I'm not charging for this service, but it kills me to see people wasting money on campaigns that suck. So if you'd like me to give you this session, right, to show you exactly how it works, then you can either apply it, and if you like what you saw, maybe we can help you. Right? Are you interested in sitting down and at least looking at a proactive strategy to get better results with the campaigning, with whatever it is you're teaching? Really, really simple message. So if you look at the 1 hour and 8 minute mark of our call here on our daily call, then you can go back and you can take that script. So it's a really easy script to use. So I'll take another question. Anybody got a question? More than happy to answer a question here. Scott, before lockdown, I chose car dealers as a niche to target. Do you think it's worth carrying on? Yeah, car dealers, absolutely, man, because they're about to go, right now, a lot of these stimulus packages, especially these tax breaks packages, I would look them up right now, Scott, because in Australia, you can go and write down $150,000 worth of equipment. And so a lot of contractors are going to go and spend that money on buying trucks, right? Trucks and vans and dual cab utes. And so, yeah, I would be going to car dealers right now and say, hey, do you want to blow up the sales of your dual cab utes? Because right now the stimulus package is going to be kicking in, and people need to know they can buy that car from you. So those are the things that I'll be looking at for the car dealers in the marketplace, if that answers your questions. So that's huge. Tejas has asked me a whole bunch of stuff here. Context, we have not done prospecting for quite some time, as most clients have come referrals. Okay, that's why businesses struggle in our world. If you've been relying on referrals for your business and you're not outbound, then you're certainly not going to do very well. Solution's a bit complex. We help B2B software SaaS tech companies to help them build their marketing and sales pipeline via account-based marketing. Awesome. That's a very needed service. So $5 million to $70 million companies. So on LinkedIn, the companies I would target are businesses that have 50 plus employees. 50 plus employees, that gives you a direct target market to shoot for. The solution includes identifying pre-target list of companies, engage multiple stakeholders. So you're actually building lead lists for the client. We use LinkedIn to outreach. Awesome. Okay, so question. Best messaging right now is, can I put you in front of a buying customer? That's the best message. Let me introduce you to deals. We're a deal introduction agency. That's what I'd be doing if I were you. Best offer with the current scenario. Right now, if I can introduce you to a direct person who is in line with your market, who has a deal on the table that is interested in buying or looking at your services, can I introduce you to those people? That's your outreach. Pretty simple. Best way to show, that's the attention hook. So to answer your question, best message, let me introduce you to a deal. Right, we're out there scouring for deals. Now, the beautiful thing about this, Omar, if you're out there scouring for deals, those deals don't have to go just to the people that you're reaching out to, right? Those deals can belong to anybody. So if you're in a particular niche and you're looking for the buyer or the person who's in the buying zone, and you find those people in the market, and you can go to those people and say, listen, I can connect you with certain product people in the marketplace. Are you interested? And that person goes, yeah. And you go, okay, what types of organizations or tech companies do you want to be introduced to? Then you can marry the buyer with the seller, right? Then you're going to make, listen, I'm talking to 30, 40 people who are interested in this type of product category. Can we sit down and talk about how we can actually set up a system and a structure to introduce you to those types of clients? That is the easiest sale on the planet right there. And you've got the capability to do that. Find it easier to find a solution for clients, not getting the right mind frame for my business. I don't understand what that means, right mind frame for the business. But Tejas, mate, you're in the pocket for making a lot of money right now. People are desperate looking for you, Tejas. I know people in my market that are charging people $8,000 a month just for 10 opportunities, $800 per opportunity. Plus they take a 5% commission on any sales made on top of that. So your market, Tejas, is massive. And if you've got those skills, then you should be flat out busy right now. You should be absolutely flat out right now. And if you're not, it's because you're not talking to anybody. So yeah, so hopefully that helps. Absolutely. Chris, how do US guys target roofers? Really simple. They pick up the phone, roofing companies in a city, and say, are you open? Some roofers will prepay for leads. Absolutely, Chris. So there is an agency that I work with where they charge, I think it's roughly $50 for a lead, about $50. But the cost of acquiring that lead is about $16. So they make, what are they making? They're making $34 out of every lead. But they have to bank them up. So they have to bank them up in 100 leads. So it's $3,000. So what is it? $5,000 they're going to pay up for 100 leads. Yeah. So they pay in advance. And what they do is they do a campaign, get them the 100 leads, and then they sit there and go, great, do you want another 100 leads? And they just pay for one of the easiest services you can provide. Right? If you've got a landing page that's going to convert, if you can filter the actual lead and then you can marry the lead with the roofing guys, the roofing guys will spend money all day long with qualified leads. So that's one way to do it. How do you find roofers? Pretty easy, man. Just go to Google. There is also an association for roofers in the United States. By the way, the roofing industry in the United States is worth about $40 billion. $40 billion industry, and about half the states in the United States right now, they can do roofing right now. They can actually do business in the coronavirus time. They don't need to deal with their customers direct. They can actually use Google to take a snapshot of the roof of the building, so they can do a direct quote if it's a replacement job, or they can get the customer to take a photo of the damaged area, send the photo in, and they can do a quote. So they can do virtual quoting. That's a huge plus for the roofing industry. And the other side of that coin is that they're really easy to find. But if I look at the guys that I work with, what are they doing? They're cold emailing, text messaging, picking up the phone and talking to them, and they're running Facebook ads to a funnel. So far they've closed 4 deals, and I think they're going to close another 4 deals this month. So that's 8 deals, Chris, in the roofing market, and they just going direct. So that's how you do roof leads. Thanks, Tejas. I really appreciate that. Any other questions? I'll take another question if you want me to help you. Chris, a luxury hotel in Spain is offering accommodation with care to vulnerable COVID-19 patients requiring isolation to relieve the hospitals as they have to temporarily close the hotel and business. Okay, that's fantastic, Chris. What's the question? A lot of hotels are offering, in fact, there's a hotel in Australia, in WA, 5-star hotel, is taking homeless people off the streets feeding it 3 meals a day so they can actually isolate and not be in a position of spreading the virus. So I think that's amazing. But my question to you, Chris, is what's the context? I'm not sure why you're sharing it with me. I've been looking for, so it's Globital, Globital marketing.com. Globital marketing, Scott. Globital marketing. Okay, any other questions? I'm happy to answer your questions here. I'll take another question. Otherwise, I'm going to say thank you for being here. I'm going to put this recording up in the Facebook group. I'm going to put this recording up in the YouTube channel. If you haven't been in the Facebook group, go to make sure you go to consultingunleashed.com/go. That'll give you all the details. /go. So thanks, Chris. Yeah, globaltalmarketing.com. Absolutely. Any other questions? I'll take one more question. If you want me to give you strategy, give you structure, give you intelligence, ask me the question. I will help you. I know there's a whole bunch of people on here, which is awesome to see. Oscar, if you need help. Raymond, good to see you, man. If I can answer your question for you, I will. If you've got a question, just type in the chat. Raymond Stout. If that's correct. James, for the folks that have been, that have deals that include a percentage of sales, how do they control the numbers? Okay, so James, let's get you on the call because this is a question that often comes up, and there's a reason. The reason why it comes up is people don't know how to handle or how to do deals, basically. So, so James, hey James, you there?
Yes, I am now.
Okay, so the question you're asking is, like, we have guys that that do profit share, right? Profit share on sales. Okay, so the way to do this is you need to be in control of the marketing, right? If you're in control of the marketing, it means you're in control of the analytics, and you can sit down at the end of the month and you can say, hey, here's all the leads that came in. Which of these leads became customers? So you sit down with the clients and you say, right, we know that these people made an appointment with you. Of these people, which of them become clients? Okay, great. Here's the deal. We take 5%, we take 10%, whatever you want, whatever the deal is, and you invoice the client month on, right? That's one way to handle it, right? If you are in control of the analytics, which is what you want to be, then you can do a profit share with companies. So for example, we worked for a company where we managed their database. They were a logistics and asset management company. We managed their database for them as part of the deal. So we charged them $15,000 a month to manage their database. That meant building that database. That meant crafting Office that database, running campaigns, and we would do a sliding scale, 15 grand retainer plus starting at 5% up to 15%, depending on how successful the campaign was. So the more successful the campaign, the more profit share we got. They loved it. They made millions of dollars in sales from our campaigning. We always got paid on time in advance because we saw all the sales. We managed the whole process. So that's taking it on a bit more of a sophisticated level, but we were essentially in charge of building. And by the way, we only built the database in a niche. We weren't managing the company's entire database. We were niching our services within a niche for that business. And so in that market, they became the dominant player. In fact, we kind of put other competitors out of business because of the level of activity and our marketing strategies, where we were actually gaining clients away from our competitors in the marketplace. They couldn't compete, and we weren't the cheapest. In fact, we were the most expensive in the market. But how we did that deal is we managed the whole thing. We built the list, we would craft the campaigns, and then we would monitor the analytics to see what happened from the orders, because we could actually see people putting in requests or request a proposal, request an order.
Okay.
We saw everything. So we could sit down with the company at the end of the month and go, great, this is an awesome campaign. You know, we generated $500,000 worth of revenue for you. Take out the gross profit, our percentage is, thank you very much. It worked really well. So they loved it. Now, there's one of my champions, Will. That's what he does with companies. He charges you a $10,000 setup fee for email marketing campaign. He does cold email, by the way, for his clients. So the very thing that everybody's doing here, he sells that as a service to businesses. So he builds a database, a cold email database, runs a cold email campaign, charges you 10 grand for all the setup. Then he charges you $5 grand a month or $5,000 to $8,000 a month to run the campaigns. And then he takes 11% of all the sales.
And how big are these companies? How big are these companies?
Companies anywhere between that $5 to $50 million category.
Okay.
They tend to be in the tech market, the tech niche, enterprise SaaS, that sort of stuff. So so he'll take 11% of every sale that's made, but he manages the process, right? He manages the whole structure and the campaign, and that's why it works. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to know how to keep them from not telling the truth. So you just answered that.
Look, it's really weird. So what you're saying, a lot of people have this like, oh, I'm going to get screwed over, right? If you go into a relationship thinking the possibilities of how you're going to get screwed over, then whatever you intend to do is not going to happen, right? You make the rules, right? When you go into a relationship where you're doing a profit share, you're the person that's making the rules because you're the person delivering the service, not the client. The client doesn't make the rules, you make the rules, right? So you go in and say, this is how we work together, right? Normally we would charge you double, right? So you've got a choice. You can pay double the monthly fee and we'll do everything, no profit share, or we'll meet you halfway. We'll come in at this price and then we'll take a percentage of sales. Which would you prefer? And so most of the companies go, okay, I'll take a percentage of sales, right? I work with one of my consultant champions, Andrew, this is what they do. They go into a business, they do all their marketing above the line, below the line, and they take 30% of everything, 30% of everything, right? So that's their deal, right? So they get paid a retainer, plus they get 30% of everything. That's their deal. And
is it
every
a harder
company
sale?
they go into, sorry? No.
Is it a harder sale?
No, because it's an easy sell because then you're doing all the work, right?
Okay.
They don't have to do anything. They just got to show up and they got to deliver. So no, it's not a hard sell at all. It's actually quite an easy sell. But percentage deals are not new. You know, the percentage deals have been going on forever. My favorite percentage deal guy is Jay Abraham. Jay Abraham's been doing percentage deals for 50 years, right? And you know, last time I had dinner with him, we were talking about these percentage deals. I mean, he's got like 140 clients that he manages, right? Out of those 140 clients, he's taking a clip out of every client, right?
Yeah.
The other guy, one of my mentors and who we engaged was Dan Kennedy. Dan Kennedy took 3% of everything that we sold. He takes a clip out of everything. He takes a piece out of everything that he does, right? So that was more than 3%. It was 6%. 6% we had to pay. We had to pay 100 grand, 140 grand plus 6%, right, in perpetuity, as long as we used his sales copy and strategy. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Abraham really well, and he's apparently like really high end. And then Kennedy, I always wondered when you say Dan Kennedy, I might get this wrong, so please don't laugh. But is it the same family that started the Red Book before the internet?
No. Okay. Dan Kennedy, marketing extraordinaire, horse racing extraordinaire, probably the biggest direct response marketer in the world has ever known.
All right, well.
Right, incredible copywriter. If you just look up Dan Kennedy, the book series, you'll know who I'm talking about. Right? Okay. So his deal with us was 140 grand down, 6% on all sales forever, and we could buy him out at the end of 12 months. We had a buyout deal at the end of 12 months. Yeah.
Cool. I just got one of the books.
So,
sorry.
Yeah.
No, I was
you just got one of the books.
Yeah, you mentioned Fanatical Prospecting by Jeff Blount. I just got that one.
Jeb Blount, yeah, J.B. Blount, B-L-O-U-N-T. Absolutely, great book. All Jeb's books are fantastic. That guy is a sales stalwart. He's a warhorse in sales. So yeah, highly recommend anything that guy writes. He's got some really great scripts in that book, by the way. Some amazing sales scripts. My favorite book of all time was How to Master the Art of Selling by Tom Hopkins. Although Tom had a more leaning towards the real estate type industry, insurance sales type industry, the first 4 chapters of that book, the first 4 chapters of that book built a $30 million marketing agency. The first 4 chapters of How to Master the Art of Sales built our $30 million marketing agency. We literally just systemized the first 4 chapters. It was all
I was
so it's probably one of the best, one of the all-time sales books from Tom Hopkins.
Yeah, I remember him when I was in real estate. Everybody mentioned his name.
Yep. But the first 4 chapters of How to Master the Art of Selling, absolute gold. You put that into practice, you'll do exceptionally well.
Awesome. I'll go back to that one.
So,
thank you.
Thanks for being here, James, and thank you for asking the question. I really appreciate it. So with that, I want to thank you for being here. Same time, same channel tomorrow. Bring me your questions, bring me your strategies. I'm going to talk about some different things. Make sure right now we're at the beginning of our week. So make sure that you want to be actively engaging at least 20 to 30 people a day. That's the goal, right? And from that, you want to be following those people up consistently. Right now, hustling and working up is going to create those sales. Remember, I talked about my champions. The reason my champions are making revenue and sales right now is because of the level of activity they do every single day. That's why they're crushing it. That's why a lot of people are crushing it in this market. The opportunity that we have in front of us, all of us here, is extraordinary right now. And so you should not be, all of us here should be so freaking busy, it's not funny, because people are desperately looking for your services right now. They are desperately looking for ideas and they're desperately looking for solutions. And the only way they can find you is either you reach out to them or you show them a way that they can find you. That is the only way you're going to grow this business and make it happen. Make sure you go to consultingunleashed.com/go. That gives you the YouTube channel where we put these videos. That'll give you the Facebook group to join to make sure you don't miss out on anything. There's also some other things in there. Stephanie, James, Omar, a few other people, Damian, thank you for sharing. I really appreciate you hopping on. If you are going to hop on these calls, make sure that you hop on with your microphone so that I can help you. Raymond says, so far I've answered all your questions. Thank you very much for doing that. So with that, I want to thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you same time, same back channel, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow, 8 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. If you know of anybody who should be here, should be looking at these daily sessions, then please do share the link that's in consultingunleashed.com/go. If you can get that out, it is the same link that you're using every day to join this meeting. So thank you, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.